Good afternoon, WSSEA. We are live with middle school playoff Brawlhalla action. My name's Spicy, joined on the mic here with Sami Nami. How are we doing today?
You know, I'm feeling pretty good. We just coming over from Minecraft prior, so I'm actually been really eager to be seeing these matches here tonight, really to get our hands dirty.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, middle school here at WSSEA doesn't get to be on stream very often, but when they do, it's when the lights are brightest here with the playoffs. We're covering a semifinals match, and then we're going to be going into finals. First on up, we got Hilltop Heritage is one of their 3 teams. We got Nullscapes going up against one of Kahoya's teams now too. So should be a really fun matchup before we get into this then.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I'm hearing that there's a lot of Hilltop teams, and they are actually fairly good, and that we've actually had a good number of upsets so far in the brackets. So I'm curious, are we going to see another set of them, or will we potentially have Hilltop versus Hilltop going into the finals?
Yeah, that's definitely something to be on the radar here. Hilltop also beat Kahoya's B team in the first round in what was one of the many upsets as you were talking about. So we're looking to see if Hilltop's going to be able to strike again, get rid of Kahoya altogether. We'll see what happens. But before we get into the match, we do want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to all of you guys, helping to showcase the amazing talent here in Scholastic Esports. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media. Make sure to join their community on Discord, and don't forget to use the hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA whenever you post. So with that said, we're going to be getting into this very shortly. It should be real exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean, with such a large roster to select from, I'm real curious to see what legends specifically, tons of different titles to work with specific terminology, but which legends will be seen going into the match for these duos, as this is going to be a stock build fight. Whoever's going to be falling off, I believe 3 times for both sides, is going to be the loser.
Yep, I believe that is the case here. And in semifinals, it is a best of 3 sets still. So the first team to win 2 of those games will be punching their ticket here into finals. We talked about this before we went live, but there is such a large roster in this game of some of the original characters, a lot of crossover characters here as well. One of the best things, especially in the Scholastic scene, is a lot of the kids, they don't necessarily care about who's meta. They don't care about the tier list necessarily. They like to play who they like to play. Some of them like to play who's good. Some of them like to want to bring up the stocks of like a lower tier character hypothetically. So we could be seeing a lot of diversity here, and that's just one of the beauties about Scholastic Esports as a whole.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we saw the initial selections there for Raymond and Umagi. Raymond's going to be great for actually the frontline utilization there. As for Umagi, taking a look at their weaponry, they also seem to be more of a melee base. That would have been an interesting selection. Usually you want to actually have one for long distance and melee, and one that will deal with close quarters combat. Well, we'll have to see what their opponents select here on the other side.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. It's interesting you bring that up here, and especially because it's a doubles format. To have characters that actually synergize together in a game like this, it does matter a lot here, because not only are you factoring in the individual players, their skill sets, their chemistry, but you want to have those characters that fit very well together there. So yeah, you talk about the mix of ranges potentially being a factor here, and like the different weapons that each of these characters can really be bringing out. So just gonna be real interested to see how that all ends up playing out. We don't know what the other team is gonna be utilizing here as well. So a lot of things to be really thinking about as we head into this first game.
There we are. And I do think I want to make note here, this is actually a best of 3 series. So if there's going to be a complete shutout here with a 2-0, it could totally happen. And I would say it'd be very definitive here going into this. From the brackets alone, Hilltop, the Nullscapes, are the only team to actually have a pure knockout. And they were the upset against the Cloyola B team that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that. Like, Kahoya today has yet to take a game off of Hilltop between any of the teams there. Both of these schools, it's crazy. I think they've actually over half of the playoff bracket. Between the 2 schools, they have 5 teams, with 2 teams from Kahoya, 3 teams from Hilltop. So I guess the powerhouse is here in WSSEA Brawlhalla. So to see them, this is only semifinals too. So a lot of storylines potentially here. You see the Orion, you see the Ember, you see Amugi, you see Rayman all coming out here. They're loading into the Great Hall.
Now, this is an interesting one. Great Hall is actually one of the older maps to be playing on here. So as we're going to be starting it off very quickly here, definitely keep an eye on that Orion who has the Javelin ready. This is actually going to be able to deal a lot of damage and actually CC people off the map very easily.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And you're seeing this immediately here, Koya in like that blue squad here, Hilltop Heritage there in that red. Immediately seeing just a lot of like individual 1v1s happening, just trying to see who's able to really navigate this kind of stage, who's able to really establish a position here. The potential for doubles combos are always paramount here as well. One player going off stage as well, having these edge guard opportunities potentially. But really at this point, just a lot of neutral and a lot of just these individual like 1v1 fights.
Yeah, I mean, air control here is going to have to be paramount. And what we actually were seeing there really early on is that once you get them knocked off the stage, you actually go for a weapon throw as a means of stun or spiking where possible here. I think they're going to try for it again. Not going to be able to really make that connection, unfortunately.
Yeah, wow, yo, big pick right there onto the Rayman there as well. So that's a big point already on the board here as Hilltop Heritage already getting that one stock on there. So have to play a little more carefully now, but the matter of just seeing what else you're going to be able to do. How are you going to make most of this advantage? The characters spawn back in really fast, so you're not able to consistently just get maximization of like a 2v1 potential here. So let's see what ends up happening, as that's another stock being taken off the board here. It's Hilltop Heritage so far so good.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're definitely seeing here that Brawlhalla really have to try to step it up here. I've said it before, and I'll say it again here now on stream, is the spears here I think are just the most overpowered thing in this game because of their reach compared to other legends that you can play. It's really just the defining factor between these fights here, because you just can outmaneuver your opponent and keep them at a distance.
Oh, definitely, yeah. In a game like this, especially here with Brawlhalla, and you see that now Hilltop Heritage is actually losing a stock in the process. But you mentioned, like, yeah, spears with that kind of range, it's so powerful to see just being able to close in on this space here, take up so much of this stage. Another stock flying off the board here. It's Kohoya's Rayman down to their final stock. It's now 4 stocks total here from Hilltop Heritage. Meanwhile, we're down to 3 here from Kohoya. So starting to be a little bit of crunch time here, seeing what kind of comebacks are we going to be able to see potentially here from Kohoya. So trying to get on the board here early on in this set, and really just seeing what are we going to be able to do to stop this Hilltop Heritage team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they finally got that one stock off of the Orion there, but oh, that's going to do you in there. And Rayman is down and out on that double KO there. What a play they were able to execute. You've seen Amagi try to get a weapon back in their hand, but they have a really tall order to meet here, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it.
It's really difficult. You're in the 1v2 situation. Here, you're also down to your last stock. You have to take 4 more total. You do get 1 here, though, so it's only 1 versus 3 in terms of the stocks. But what are we going to be able to do? You have a really long-reaching weapon here as well, so maybe able to make the most of it here. You're seeing Hilltop Heritage doing a great job just being able to space around each other, not making themselves in a big spot to be hit in a 2v1 situation. Just trying to see what are we going to be able to do here. Just playing very carefully, it seems here, just really waiting for the best opportunity.
Yeah, they are. I mean, now you have the axe in hand here. This is going to be a little tougher. You do hit harder, but you see, immediately choosing to throw away that axe because the greatsword actually has better utilization in comparison to the axe, especially when you're dealing with those lances that Orion has. Oh, and that's going to be game.
Just overall great stuff that we saw from Hilltop Heritage. Had a couple of flubs on occasion, but throughout the entire game, just really dominant. It felt like just having a lot of control pretty much of the stage, making it really difficult for Kohoya to really establish anything on the offensive end. So great start for them. Only 1 more game now for Hilltop Heritage, for Nullscapes in particular, before they punch their ticket in the finals.
It does. I mean, with those selections there, you really saw that Rayman was the one that was targeted constantly. Rayman's very much the pummeler, if you will. So they love to get up in your face. Once you get rid of Rayman, now you have a big problem on your hands where your backup player there on Amagi doesn't really have the type of damage over time, the rate of fire, we'll say, on dishing out those hits compared to Raymond, who is built for those close counters.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I like how they execute that game plan pretty much because like once they had that like 2v1 situation against Yamagi, it was like much easier I felt for Hilltop Heritage to really just control everything there. Not only did you have that stock advantage, but like it's so much harder for Amagi to really do anything in that situation, especially without Rayman, like the pummeler, as you were mentioning there. So we'll see what ends up happening. What adjustments are we going to be going into? We're going to Small Enigma
Ooh.
for this next stage here as well. See a couple character swaps also on the board here from Kohoya.
Yeah, Thatch is actually a really good selection here. Love to bring that one on in because actually get a lot of use out of those explosives. It's actually going to be the counter to Orion, believe it or not. Now, as for Magyar, we'll have to see. I think that's going to be another one of your melee dealers here that you're working with.
Interested to see what ends up happening here now for Kohoya. Now or never, pretty much here for their season hopes in Brawlhalla. So let's see what they end up doing now. We see that Kohoya is operating to play more so in the middle here, a little trying to split up Hilltop Heritage, and they're actually doing a solid job of being able to just really force Hilltop Heritage to have no space. They're playing a lot on the edges here, a lot in the potential edge guarding opportunity, trying to see what's going to be happening. You see the wall jumps being utilized through the stage there on the side, and just seeing what is going to be the big opportunity for either team to really strike. It feels like Kohoya's off to a great start so far. Thatch going to be able to get that stock here too, and now it's a matter of seeing how much more momentum are we going to be having.
That we are, and Ember also falls to Magyar. What I'm really liking to see right now is that you have Kohoya trying to actually fight in the 1v1 here, but in this game of Brawlhalla, it's actually not a bad idea to work together here, which is how Hilltop was able to get one big hit off, but not the confirmed elimination there on the Thatch. They're just a second off each time. And it's really starting to show there. Orion will be able to get the double with the Lance thrust.
Massive double there. Hilltop Heritage finding the equalizer. Now 2 stocks apiece from all 4 players here. Matter of seeing what is this going to happen here. We saw Hilltop Heritage just evaporate that lead away from Kohoya secondary. And matter of seeing what are we going to be able to do here. Kohoya having a little bit of a harder time now, but they have the stage positioning here as well, trying to find the spots here, and finding someone on the left side of the stage and on the right side. Yeah, not going to be able to get the stock there with the high ceiling, but putting a lot of pressure here on this Hilltop Heritage team.
Indeed they are. Something I'd be curious to see is another strategy will happen in competitive play is as players start to come back after losing a weapon, in order to edge guard them properly, as you'll see Ember now coming back themselves, is that they will throw their weapon and steal the deployed weapon on the ground in order to make it so that way they cannot continue getting those fights. And as I'm speaking, there was a ton of KOs there. You lost 2 more stocks from the side of Hilltop and 1 more from Kohoya.
It's close now here. Kohoya's 1 player with the 2 stocks gonna end up losing that next one, so it's gonna be 1 stock apiece from all 4 players here. Kohoya's season on the line. Hilltop Heritage trying to punch their ticket into finals. Now or never really here to see what is going to be the next plays. 1 player falling, going real far off stage, but able to recover nicely at least here. And it's a matter of seeing what else are we gonna be able to do. Looks like a lot of high knockback in potential now for the Thatch, and it's a matter of seeing, are they going to be able to just hold on here, especially with all the pressure now on the line?
No, especially so. Given that now you're down to Magyar, has to clutch it up here now with this hammer. It's going to be a hard fight here, especially when Orion's right in your face. You're also going to have to deal with Ember's lunge, and that's going to be it there. A complete shutout by Hilltop.
Yeah, no escapes. Once again, taking care of Kohoya. So that's 2 Kohoya teams falling victims to no escapes from Hilltop Heritage Middle School, who punches their ticket in the finals with a second 2-0 here. They have yet to drop a game here in playoffs and are looking very hot here as we find out that their opponent in finals is going to be Mason Middle School, the BH Mustangs as well.
Oh, interesting. As we were actually believing they were going to be going against Hilltop themselves, but no,
Yeah, same
looking
here.
at the bracket, it seems that Hilltop did win their first one in that semis, but then lost the next two against Mason Middle School. So that will actually be really exciting to watch coming here. But I believe we are going to be heading to a quick break, folks. So we'll see you in a moment.
And welcome back, WSSEA. We are back here for Brawlhalla's middle school finals. We got No Skips Hilltop Heritage, who we just saw punch their ticket here, going up against the Mustangs, BH Mustangs from Mason Middle School. So, got a great matchup on our hands here. Once again, I'm Spicy, joined on the mic here with Sami Omni. How are we doing today?
I'm actually doing quite well. In fact, with the names alone, I have a little bit of personal bias as a caster, but I'm not going to let that be known for which team that is right now.
Hey, love to hear that. Real curious now. It's just the co-caster of what we could be seeing, just knowing that. But also, what do we got here? We got a best of 5 set here for finals. So everything here in playoffs was best of 3. And now, first time, we're going to be having an extended set. First team to win 3 games claims the crown here for the fall season of Brawlhalla.
That they do. And I'm actually kind of really excited about how this is set up as a blind pick. We don't even know what they're going to be going into until we get to the map. So
that's
really
real
interested about that.
Now, it's real interesting as well here because Mason, they just beat one of the Hilltop Heritage teams before this. So I'm wondering if Hilltop Heritage, if Nullscapes now has a little bit of intel because 6-7, who just lost in semis to Mason, they might be able to give them some info there. Maybe it's not as blind as we think, but maybe Mason just has the code for like what does Hilltop Heritage like doing. So anything really could be happening here.
I mean, that's fair enough. I will say I think they're going to be a more methodical team that Hilltop isn't ready for, because if we just go off a bracket score alone, they've lost their first map every single time, which puts them at a big deficit. However, they then reverse sweep it all the way through the playoffs. So it makes me question if they take that first round just for research purposes to get an idea of what they're playing against.
Yeah, interesting there. Yeah, we see Small Galvin Prime as the stage. Orion and Ember once again from Hilltop Heritage. Arcadia and Ransom now from the side of Mason. So coming in now, finals here for Brawlhalla. We're getting ready to get into this here and see what ends up happening here.
No, definitely. This map here, you actually only have the 2 platforms to work off of, so your Sky Spike's not going to be as likely to happen here. Much more having to focus on edge guarding here is going to be the name of the game. Now, I think Orion here is going to have their hard time against Arcadia, as now you have 2 spear people in play.
Well, it is an interesting thing, as you mentioned, that having 2 spears in play might be difficult here for Orion. Arcadia getting that first stock here as well. Mason off to a solid start here. Orion once again finding the equalizer, though, and already trying to see if Hilltop Heritage can take the lead back now. They are able to Orion with 2 quick stocks in succession after Mason was able to get that early lead. A matter of seeing what else is going to be happening here. You see that Orion's having a rough time just trying to stay alive here, but still getting these combos off and just kind of telling the aggressor here, just being able to navigate this as their teammates starting to get some follow-ups here, despite them really being at like a higher percentage.
No, most definitely. I mean, looking at how this fight is going, I'm watching how Ransom is purposely playing with this bow here, trying to purposely deal with Orion and getting those eliminations there. Really is standing on out. In comparison, you give Arcadia the spear to deal with Ember. So they're trying to play to each other's strengths and weaknesses here. They're complete mirror matches of each other.
Yeah, it's like a really interesting mirror matches here as everyone flying off stage. So for Orion getting the great spike there, but Ember falling on the left side there. Arcadia getting credit for that next stock. 2-1 pretty much here. 3 stocks apiece from both of these squads. A matter of seeing what else is going to be the next play. As Orion doing such a great job now with another combo extension, able to trying to get any extra credit they can here, just really able to capitalize on this. Meanwhile, you're seeing from Mason just trying to reestablish control, able to kind of split up these Hilltop Heritage players here, trying not to lose that next stock. They're trying not to get into that last stock situation, but here we are now. Ember going to get that next stock here. Ransom falling off, so that was a 2v1 situation.
Yep, you're left with Arcadia, and actually, Arcadia's in a better position in comparison to what we witnessed earlier about Brawlhalla, who had only one stock every time they were down players like this. Instead, they have two stocks to work with. They're fighting it without weapon before getting it equipped again. I think this is going to be your carry here. The Arcadia is the one you have to be careful of, and because you could not get rid of them quick enough, now you're going to be playing a bit of the long game.
Yeah, it's a matter of playing the long game, seeing if that works. You saw Orion get the kill on Arcadia once again, though. So, only got one stock left. You have to take 3, and they're playing really aggressive there. You saw going for that, just trying to finish it early. This Orion players off to an insane start right here. Ember going off the left side stage. Orion now on that left side, trying to see if they're able to recover. Almost able to, not going to get that. Ember unfortunately getting that team kill there. One stock apiece here. Ember also had a high percentage here. It's not impossible here for this Arcadia player.
No, it definitely is not. The interesting thing, they're trying to go for these spikes here, which is the right play to make. However, I do think that they are miscommunicating here as players because they keep running into each other. Ember, unfortunately, getting that team kill there against their own player, but finally will be able to come out on top in game number 1.
Hilltop Heritage still undefeated here in playoffs. They went 2-0 in round 1, 2-0 in semis, up a game now in finals. But as we mentioned, this is kind of where Mason wants to be in. Every time they've lost game 1, and now it's like, I don't know what really is to expect here. Mason might finally get a game, might finally put a blemish on Hilltop Heritage's record here in playoffs just by the way they've been going here, and especially because while it was 2 stocks to 0 at the end of it, I felt like Mason played that pretty well overall.
I think so as well. It's definitely a lot closer than what we've seen so far tonight. And it really, I think, came down to timing and luck. And if they can actually start to rope that in, get some better control on their positioning and how they play, I think they can bring it together.
Definitely, yeah. And we see that the adaptation for them has been really good for them throughout this entire playoff bracket so far. And in a longer set as well, they're going to have that more time to really make those adjustments as needed here. So even if they fall in game 2, so I don't even know if I could really count them out, especially with the way they've been adjusting. I'm really interested to see, especially from Mason, what changes now from game 1. Because I feel like if they weren't in necessarily that 2v1 situation or 1v2, I guess, they probably would have brought that really close to at the very end there. It's just unfortunate having the Ransom end up getting knocked out early. Hilltop Heritage kind of had that where they wanted, but you mentioned Hilltop Heritage also had a few communication issues, it felt like, just within their own team.
Definitely, and we're not going to see any change up in the legend selection here. They're going to stick to their guns. That's interesting. Now, I did want to point out, I didn't get a chance to, we were on the Ben 10 map last time. Now we are on one of the original maps here for Brawlhalla.
Here on Miami Dome's much smaller stage here, you're already seeing how this is going to be a big factor. These players with these longer ranged weapons just take up so much of the stage here. There's Orion once again putting in so much pressure here onto this Arcadia, especially. You see a lot of these Mason players are flying off onto the sides of the stage, already forcing some edge guarding situations. Arcadia is going to end up hitting Ransom by accident here. Orion and seeing this Ember one more time, just trying to see what are they going to be able to do. Everyone here is a relatively high percentage here, going to be knocked around real easily, and this first stock is going to be so valuable.
Oh yeah, they're all in the red here, and the first to go is Ember. Ransom going to be able to get that initial pick there, really helps them out. However, Arcadia has to focus on not being the second victim. Ooh, that will do it.
Right as they say there, and that was a double there too, as Ransom also falling victim. Orion, the only one here with 3 stocks, never mind, actually getting hit out there by Ember. Everyone here tied up, 2 stocks apiece here. It's been real close, and with a small stage like this is kind of what you expected to see. A lot of chaotic action, especially on stage, really promoting a lot of pressure and a lot of fighting on the offstage. These edge guards are so important here. Really, who's going to be able to maximize these kind of offenses? A lot of characters just flying off on the left side of the stage. As you're seeing now, great spike there. Ransom onto the Ember here. And now a matter of seeing, can they make it back? They are going to be able to make it back. Orion, though, being able to shut down this Ransom here now. Tied a piece, 3 stocks each.
Yeah, no, it's almost getting that juggle there towards the sky. They're really trying to just get these confirmed eliminations going. And I mean, Ember has been just bloodthirsty. Arcadia going to be able to get the Orion there, which actually helps out Mason quite a good bit as we're getting low on stock count now.
Yeah, we are getting low on stock count here. Yeah, Ember's thrown off on right side stage here as well. Orion also getting pushed off now too. It would be so pivotal here if Mason's going to be able to find a 2v1. They are going to be able to do so here. Ember falling victim. And there's 3 stocks now here as a total from Mason. Matter of seeing what are they going to be able to do. This Orion has been doing such a great job of being able to find some offense, find some stocks. They are going to see Arcadia fall victim here, but it's not going to matter as Mason, still true to their name, true to their tournament run, has won another game too.
That they have. So the question is now, do we see a change up in Hilltop's legend selection here? Because it looks strong from the get-go, right? But now you're not going 2-0, right? Now you got to think, okay, do we try to go for something that can handle the range better? Do we try to go maybe for a larger stage, maybe more platforms that are not directly above the stage, maybe more towards the sides as you had with that small Galvin Empire map? Probably try to see some changes here.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see this from Hilltop because this is their first loss of this entire playoff bracket here. They didn't come in necessarily as like the top seed. I believe they were seed number 7 actually. So they probably had some adversity in the regular season, but adversity in playoffs matters so much more here. It's crazy. This is the first time Hilltop Heritage, at least Nullscapes, will be going to Game 3 at all in this playoff bracket. And we saw what happened, Mason. They've won every single Game 3 they've been in so far. So, small sample size, but never know what could be happening here. This stage selection, I think, is going to be really pivotal here. You mentioned, like, maybe wanting, like, a bigger stage, wanting something with more platforms there, too. So, it's, like, really able to see what are we going to be able to utilize, and we have to know, like, what is going to be changing with the Legends potentially here. Maybe we're going to be seeing anything different. Real curious to see what we got coming in now. We're actually going back to Miami Dome, it looks like, and characters are still the same.
They say, you know what? You guys got lucky. Run it back. They want to be able to show that they can actually put up the fight. But this could go back to blow in their face, as it seemed very definitive by Mason in that game number 2 there.
Yeah, by the end, especially through that midpoint and like the latter half of that game, Mason was just off to such a great game plan there, able to really maximize that, really able to get those stocks here. Kind of a little similar stuff here as well. Hilltop Heritage getting some early damage to Ryan sent off far right side of the stage here, and you're seeing a lot of great pressure from both of these Mason players, making it difficult for this Orion to get back in. The Ember is trying to find some space, trying to make it easier for their teammate to recover, but really this Mason team so far so good, but now it's a matter of seeing, can they get this first stock really high up here with this Orion. Ember also now in like a dangerous predicament here, but can we see Mason close the door, maybe get this first stock? They are able to do so. The Ransom onto the Ember, and Orion also in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, Arcadia not feeling too hot there, dealing with Orion, juggling them in the air. Now, it still has not been able to get away from this edge, has constantly been dealing with that, and finally will get the spike into the air there, costing them a stock. I think if they can get one more on the board here, you're going to see Mason really looking strong to be able to take this into the end game with a huge lead.
Yeah, even though Ember does get that stock onto Ransom, and you know that Arcadia also is at a really dangerous spot here, but being able to put on so much damage onto these Hilltop Heritage players has been real pivotal. Great find there from Orion onto Arcadia as well. Trying to see if they're going to be able to get a double here as that too. And Orion suddenly, and with Hilltop Heritage able to just transform this entire game, now they have the lead suddenly.
That they do. I joke in this next part, but maybe that's due to Ember not getting an extra stock off of Orion there, as we've seen a couple of times now. But anything can still happen here. We are actually even across the board here in terms of stocks, 2-1 for both sides. And you're seeing a lot of the fight coming down to the ground level here. What I'm really seeing going very well is how they're rotating. You have Arcadia go for the pin and then followed up with Ransom. It seems that Hilltop tried to match it, but couldn't really get it off the same way.
Yeah, definitely there. Now, a dangerous spot to be in here. Ransom protecting that last stock with a lot of safety here, a lot of security. But a matter of seeing, can Hilltop Heritage find that snipe, just being able to pick off this Ransom here, force that 2v1 situation. You're seeing Arcadia doing a great job of being able to preserve their own 2 stocks here. But a matter of, is it going to be enough here? Well, actually, really starting to approach this end game. Dangerous spot here for this Ember, sent off on the left side. Orion also in a rough spot at times too. So real careful spot to be in. Everyone here just trying to play really carefully, just trying to find that stock, as Orion once again trying to get something here onto this Arcadia. Not able to find it though, and it's such a perilous real situation to be in. Everyone in really high percentages.
Yeah, this could be it right here. You got both of them on either sides of the edge. They will be able to make it back onto the platform here. But with everyone on one stock except for Arcadia, now losing Ember, losing their own teammate, are they just going for all the kills here?
I guess so, and it's real pivotal to be in here. Orion and Arcadia, 1 stock apiece here. You know that it's a real dangerous spot to be in, though, if you're Orion, and one big combo opportunity might be the deal, might be the game breaker here, and it's such a pivotal moment. This is game 3 of this best of 5 with a lot of momentum coming into this set, but that's gonna be GG. Arcadia getting that game. Mason up 2-1 here in finals.
Now, Mason, I think their secret recipe here is Arcadia. Arcadia has consistently been able to just get those spikes time after time. They have a Ransom actually going for the setup on damage, playing with a lot of spam here, which you don't have the same coming out from the Ember, which I think is going to be very more problematic. Orion's trying to go for these finishers, but the thing about the Lance is that unless you have them together, it's a single target focus. So when you are dealing with more than one character, being able to play that rotation that we saw over each other, or try to be able to really make some coordinated spikes, really comes down to proper communication.
Definitely, yeah. Communication, like just the positioning of players is so important here. It's really highlighted in platform fighters like this, especially in a team game, in a 2v2, where you see it quite often where like some of the teammates are just hitting each other, and you don't want everyone to be on top of each other, especially when you're trying to find such a pivotal stock. But that's just how the game goes sometimes. Now, no matter how you're going to make these adjustments. For both of these teams, it's their first time playing in Game 4. So it's uncharted territory for both of them here. Hilltop Heritage, definitely still in it. They've been able to be undefeated up until this point for very good reasons. They're going into Plains of Passage here. Same characters now from both sides, just a different stage.
Yep. I think these players are just very comfortable with their picks. These are their comfort picks, and this is what they excel at. So they're going to play it, as we're going to be heading on into the match here. Now, the difference is that you only have 2 solid platforms, one above, one below here. So really going to be focusing on trying to make sure that you play it smart into this, because the platforms are much closer to each other than they have been on any of the other maps.
Oh yeah, you see that immediately from the eye test here, how close that top platform is from the rest of the main stage. And how is that going to factor in, especially when it comes to the aerial combat here in this game? Immediately seeing Hilltop Heritage already off to a solid start here as well. Neither team able to really get that first stock, but the positioning battle has gone pretty evenly so far. Orion on the left side is going to be able to get the recovery here. Ransom then sent flying on the left. Arcadia once again, the secret weapon, trying to find a stock here, especially onto Orion. Meanwhile, Ember once again also trying to just put a stop in those plans here as Arcadia is going to fall. Ember getting that first stock, trying to see if we can find another one onto Ransom, potentially giving Hilltop Heritage a bigger lead.
Indeed. Now Ransom seems to be a bit naked here with no weapon. Finally going to be able to get a bow in hand, but they are not feeling too great. The hard part about this stage as well is that you can't play your rotation that you could on the Miami map, where you had a lot more space. If you jump too high on your rotation, you actually go to the next platform here, which messes up your coordination.
Yeah, and we already saw what happens when the coordination gets messed up. It gets really tricky here on both of these teams. It's tied up, 5 stocks apiece. Briefly here, we're going to see if Orion is able to recover. They are. Now both Orion and Ransom sent onto the right side of the stage. Orion able to get the reversal onto Ransom, giving Hilltop Heritage the much needed lead here. It's a matter of seeing, can they preserve it? They're playing aggressive onto this Arcadia while Ember falls victim to Ransom here. But you're seeing, once again, the Orion, the Arcadia, both like really high damages here. You see that those red bars. Matter of seeing who is going to fall victim with this next stock. Very pivotal one. Ransom finding a crucial stock there onto Orion as well.
That they are. I'm surprised Arcadia is still alive here. The number of times they've been sent off the stage just to recover another weapon. Oh, there they go. I just had to say something.
Yeah, the jinx, unfortunate there, but it's close still overall. Ransom on 2 stocks with a high percentage. Ember being the one to really preserve the stocks here from Hilltop Heritage. You're seeing Ransom sent flying on the left side. Arcadia getting the stock on to Ember, while Ransom falling victim to Orion. 1 stock apiece here in this game 4. Mason just needs to clinch this game to win the entire season. Hilltop Heritage trying to send us to a game 5 here in finals. Really close fighting, a lot of action happening here in the middle of the stage. You're seeing Hilltop Heritage position over onto the right. Ransom sent flying over onto the left side, trying to matter seeing if they're going to be able to recover. Another find there, but not going to be able to stay alive. Never mind. Ember with that bow, able to get the lead here, and now it's just Arcadia here for Mason.
That it is. I mean, Mason here is going to have a real tough time in this 2v1 here unless they can get an elimination out of the gates or even a collateral double kill here. It's not likely that they're going to be winning this round. I mean, I'd definitely be keeping an eye on how you deal with Ember and Orion here. They love to keep their distance. Look at this. They see that every time they go in for a send, they actually kite back. And once they're both ready to go with the right weapon here, now it's the plan of attack. And there you go. We're going into map number 5.
We're going here to a deciding game here in the Brawlhalla Championship. Wow, you couldn't script this any better. Like, pretty much every storyline that we thought possible has come to fruition here. Hilltop Heritage maintained the undefeated streak by winning game 1. Mason, as they've done in the first 2 rounds, wins game 2, wins game 3, and in uncharted territory, Hilltop Heritage wins game 4. Going into game 5, I don't even know what to expect now.
Yeah, neither do I. I mean, I get the feeling we're going to see the same selections. I think it really just comes down to the map selection here. You see, they really want that Miami Dome. They want to go back.
Yeah.
That is their bread and butter. And I think what also helps is that some of these stages have a much deeper wall that you can climb off of, which can actually save you compared to the last map that we saw, which was very short.
Definitely, yeah. Now that you bring that up, yeah, it's those like little things here on the stage where it's like, yeah, we talk a lot about how the actual like length of each stage, sometimes the distance from like the blast zones, but yeah, even how deep those walls are, being able to like really help with the recovery, it's been real important here for a lot of these teams here. I'm so curious now. Like we mentioned how comfortable both of these teams are on these characters, not really wanting to switch, I imagine. So this stage, we're watching that timer start to go down. We've been seeing a lot of these strikes been happening here. This stage likely ends up being such a big factor here as well. And now with this counter pick coming through, game 5, we're going to Suzaku Castle.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't think Mason's going to be in a good spot here. This was a similar map style to the first one we saw, and that did not play out well for them. And especially given that it now is in this kind of V shape, you're going to have a harder time making those climbs. It's much easier to get spiked here.
Yeah, easier to get spiked, no platforms really to rely on either, at least with the main stage. And seeing all of this happen, it's close and small, a lot of chaos immediately ensuing. You're seeing a huge combo extension there from Orion onto Ransom, not going to be able to find the stock. Ember sent flying towards the top there as well. Arcadia now flying towards the right side, and I tried to find the big stock. Orion able to strike first here as well. Ember sent flying onto the right side, trying to be able to recover. They are going to be able to here, but Hilltop Heritage once again getting that first stock here in the all or nothing game 5.
Yep. I mean, this is the map to do it on. You will be seeing Ransom going down yet again there now, but only in the latter part of this fight. Ember now going to be losing their stock. The first one down for the side of the Hilltop, but Arcadia is not looking too healthy.
Yeah, it's really rough here for Arcadia. Already after losing a stock, make that losing 2 now. Orion still on 3 stocks. It is 5 stocks total of 3 here. Ransom now holding on to 2 stocks, and Ember as well holding on to 2. But this Orion has been such a clutch player now and is living up to all the hype so far, still holding on to 3 stocks, and Arcadia has been targeted out, but Arcadia has gotten the stock now from Orion. So 4 stocks to 3 here, trying to find an equalizer here onto Ember, who's not going to be able to recover, and it is tied at 2-1, 3 stocks apiece.
Well, this is going to be very definitive here because the difference on who has the extra stocks, now going down to 1-1, is that the person with 2 stocks here is the Orion, the Lance user. And again, those range users tend to have a greater advantage in Brawlhalla compared to anyone else. And Arcadia is down and out. This leaves you with Orion and Ember against Ransom, who's more of a range brawl user, which can get very, very dicey very quickly.
It could be here, and especially with this Hilltop Heritage team, the Orion having 2 stocks is so pivotal here as well. Already a lot of damage built up onto this Ransom, trying to protect themselves over on the right side. Ember getting sent flying as well, but Ransom ends up falling victim, and that's going to be game, set, match. Hilltop Heritage reaches the top as NoScapes wins Brawlhalla here at WSSEA Middle School.
Wow. I mean, that was definitely a comeback there that we just witnessed. Mason really had them going for those first 2 maps that they were able to bring it back, but they couldn't break their pattern of lose the first map, win the next 2. Can you win any more from there?
And it's the pattern, just really, it's the first time they played this longer set, having that best of 5 happen. If we were still in the best of 3, but it's an entirely different result here, and Mason just didn't have enough in them. And maybe it was the final stage selection that did him in, because you mentioned it before, where it didn't really feel like necessarily the best pick considering what characters are brought out. But all credits though to NoScapes for really putting on a show. The Orion and the Ember, even though they had some of their ups and some of their downs, they still clutched up when needed the most and put on a great show. End up winning this Hilltop Heritage with one of their 3 schools. Their 7th seed is the one who ends up bringing it home to them.
Indeed it is. Now we will be probably bringing it to a close here, as I am told our next stream is going to be on Monday for Valorant. But I believe we have one more sponsor that we have to shout out, don't we, Spicy?
Of course we do, yeah. It's a big shout out because this broadcast is part of LandFest Scholastic Esports program, a program that supports this issue and many others. Since launching, LandFest has delivered over 300 broadcasts to Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and teams we cover. Your generous donations make this possible. Every $200 raised covers the operating costs for just one regular season broadcast. So if you appreciate our work, scan the QR code on screen and donate today. Yeah, as big shout outs, LandFest has always done such a great job here for all of WSSEA, as well as IEN, a lot of coverage. Big shout out to Zotac and for LandFest. As Sami Nami mentioned, we will be back here with WSSEA on Monday for some Valorant playoff action. The rest of the way, it's going to be high school playoffs here with WSSEA. Absolutely excited to be seeing that. But that wraps up the coverage for Brawlhalla Middle School. Once again, I'm Spicy. Always great here with Sami Nami. That's it from us. Everyone, have a good one.